you on TV, online, and on the go. This is Valley News Live at 10.
We begin with a story called into our whistleblower hotline. It involves concerns that a horse that many of you might have seen wasn't getting necessary care during the brutal winter conditions recently.
Valley News Team's Alexandra Kay did some digging and has our story.
I've driven by this place in the summer, and it's basically a junkyard with horses.
This particular property along Interstate 29 between Gardner and Argusville has been getting attention for years. Everything from its poor condition to concern over the animals that live there.
This poor horse is trapped in snow. He's been there at least for a couple days from what I've heard.
Heidi Charles is not the only one concerned. Cass County deputies received 4 calls on this day alone about the horse. Calls they always follow up on with a visit.
Today we did contact a veterinarian, and the veterinarian did say that it was fine for the animal to be out in those conditions based on the habitat that it was in.
Bottom line is, they say the horse is not being neglected based on a checklist provided by the vet.
Things that we're kind of coached, so to speak, to look for from the veterinarian is, again, to make sure that it has an area where it can get out of the windy conditions if the horse wants to, and then that it has both food and water.
A decision that the sheriff says was seconded by the Stockmen's Association.
That particular area and that particular horse has been investigated by the Stockmen's Association as well in the past. And, the report that we've got from them is that the horse is fine and that their well-being is fine.
I reached out to the owner of the land and the horse. He did not respond. In Gardner, Alexandra Kay, Valley News Live.
Cass County deputies say they will continue to check on the animal and respond to any concerned calls. Now, if you need help uncovering fraud or corruption in your community, call our whistleblower hotline. The phone number is 701-237-6576. Call that number, leave your tip, and a member of our investigative team will get on the case and go to work to expose the truth.
2 men pleaded guilty in federal court to purchasing meth with plans to sell it at White Earth Indian Reservation. 28-year-old Michael Blanford and 26-year-old Matthew Ligland entered guilty pleas on possession with intent to distribute meth. Both were charged in April of last year. They both admitted traveling from White Earth to the Twin Cities to buy the meth so they could distribute it at the reservation.
Bail was set today at $20,000 for a woman accused of giving more than just massages at a Detroit Lakes parlor. Charges against 60-year-old Jin Lang Lee include solicitation of prostitution and result from a 5-year investigation into reports of sex acts at Lee's business, Sunny Asian Health Massage. BCA agents went undercover at the parlor last September and say a female worker was massaging one of the agent's legs and soon began touching his genitals. When asked if he wanted his genitals massaged, the agent declined. Another agent says he was offered sexual favors by another female employee of Lee. No other people have been arrested, but if convicted, Lee could spend the next 16 years behind bars.
I remember one of my first wins on a $3 bet. I won $54, and I was pretty impressed with that.
What starts as a simple, fun rush of excitement can lead to an unquenching thirst if you're not careful when gambling.
That was the case for a Fargo man and many others in the Valley. Valley News Team's Courtney Lockie has our story.
My go-to is mainly blackjack.
Up until last October, Jim says he was gambling daily since his early 20s, about 3 decades.
In the beginning, I really enjoyed just playing the game, but as it developed with the addiction and that sort of thing, it became just a form of escape.
The casino was the place he turned to when life got tough.
My life has been kind of a mess.
With the recent passing of a close friend, he says he's having a hard time staying away.
2 days ago, I had a really rough day, but I was able to get through it, by the things I've learned from coming here.
For Jim, accountability has been the hardest part. That's why he joined a group through Lutheran Social Services. He's not alone. There are several others in the Valley battling the addiction.
Telling myself I was not going to do it again, and yet the next weekend came along, and there I was.
Dean struggled with his addiction for 5 years and graduated from the program this past year.
That first month or so is very difficult, but it's much easier now.
Experts say gambling is a hidden addiction and that signs vary for everyone.
Their relationships are struggling, their work is struggling, financially they can't make their bills, but they keep going back.
If you're thinking it's a problem, it probably is.
For Dean and Jim, they say some days are harder than others. For them and most addicts, it's one day at a time. In Fargo, Courtney Lonkey, Valley News Live.
If you or someone you know needs help and you're interested in learning more on this subject, visit our Valley News Live app and click on this story.
LGBTQ activists were joined by Minnesota Governor Tim Walz at the state capitol today to demand that the Republican-controlled Minnesota Senate pass a ban on conversion therapy for minors. It's a practice that seeks to turn gay people straight. The proposal passed the Democratic-controlled House last year, but failed in the Republican-led Senate. 19 other states have enacted conversion therapy bans, most recently conservative Utah.
The latest numbers for North Dakota's general fund show the state is more than $52 million ahead of projections in sales tax revenues this biennium. Lawmakers credit this abundance to a recent Supreme Court case that restructured how states collect online sales tax. However, some argue that the increase in online sales tax revenue shows depreciation for smaller businesses.
I wouldn't consider it new revenue so much anymore because it's really at a point replacing revenue that we're losing at the local level that's just being spent online.
Lawmakers say that the state likely would have lost the revenue had the Supreme Court ruled the other way.
U.S. Secretary of Defense Mark Esper is coming to North Dakota Wednesday to visit Minot Air Force Base, home to two legs of the nuclear triad. U.S. Senators John Hoeven and Kevin Cramer will join him as he speaks with the service members and reviews the base's missions.
Both our bomber mission and our missile mission. Our forces from Minot Air Force Base have been very active, whether it's the Korean Peninsula, the war on terror, but around the globe, we've been a big part of the effort.
Senator Cramer calls the base our nation's shield, adding that the Secretary's visit demonstrates Minot's important role in protecting our country.
North Dakota's Game and Fish Department says the #1 violation last year was not carrying a license for hunting, fishing, or trapping. There were 496 such cases in 2019. The department also issued 475 citations for fishing-related issues, including exceeding the limit and transferring aquatic nuisance species. The third highest number of citations had to do with boating, including not having enough life jackets and not displaying boater registration.
North Dakota oil regulators say production in the state fell 3% in December. The state averaged nearly 1.5 million barrels per day. Companies also flared 16% of natural gas, above the 12% target. Producing wells dropped by 131 to below 16,000. Drilling rigs, however, were up by 1 to 56.
Valley News Live 10 at 10 continues with No Wait Weather.
Happy Valentine's Day. Thanks for spending the evening with us. We do have some clouds pushing in from the west, those clouds producing some showers of snow as we head into the evening as well. But for now, here in Fargo, we are just reporting some cloudy skies, 21 degrees, feels like 5, but at least it's 5 above. Those winds tapering off significantly, but still gusting to about 30 miles per hour. We saw gusts over 40 miles per hour across the valley today. Radar showing some bands of snow moving through the central Red River Valley and northwest portions of Minnesota, from points just north of the FM area through Norman County. Much of Polk County seeing some light snow showers as well. This will be coating the road with a light layer of slipperiness. Once again, not significant amounts of snow, but certainly a half-inch possible, and some trailing snow showers in northeast North Dakota for places like Walhalla, Cavalier, out through Langdon, and Rock Lake, all the way out towards Rolla as well. The national picture, really most of the nation quite quiet tonight. A few showers in Florida and in our neck of the woods, that's about it. With winds now still gusting from that warm southerly direction to 30 in Fargo. We're the gustiest on the map at this hour. Temperatures elsewhere generally near 20 degrees, but if you look out to the west, we have mid-20s, Gwinner, Valley City, Jamestown, and Devil's Lake at 27. 16 though in Wadena and 16 in Bemidji at this hour as we get ready to dive into our weekend. Here's those snow showers. Those will continue to advance off to the east. Our model not picking up on any of the snow showers taking place in northwest portions of our viewing area, but those will continue to trickle through as well. Clearing skies for our North Dakota counties overnight. Temperatures almost steady, Eddie, through the overnight hours. Our winds become westerly by morning, and they won't be as strong when we first start out our day, around 15 miles per hour or so. With temperatures near 20, we'll see them spring back up into the mid-20s by the afternoon. A renegade flake of snow or two down to the south is going to be possible, but it's going to be a little windier up in the northern counties, and we'll have northwest winds gusting to close to 40 miles per hour for you. That's going to tug some Canadian air back into the region by tomorrow. Late afternoon and early evening, our northern counties will be slipping into the single digits. We'll see some Saturday sunshine, but by and large, most of us will see cooler weather north and another day in the 20s down south for most. By the nighttime hours, the Arctic air starts returning and sub-zero air for Sunday morning is on the way. In Fargo, your Saturday morning will have temperatures very close to what we have now. We'll see a few clouds out there. Midday will rise into the mid-20s briefly, and we'll see a few clouds as well, clearing late and mighty cold thanks to northwest winds. Our winds here in Fargo, west northwesterly, and they will generally be 15 to 25 miles per hour throughout the afternoon. South of Highway 200, temperatures in the 20s to near 30 down in the far south, a lot of teens north of Highway 2. A gorgeous shot here of what looks like an ocean of tundra. Thanks, Doris, for sharing this oxbow view of the setting sun. Now a look at what we have to contend with as we close out the weekend. The cold air punches in. Chance of snow Sunday into Monday could leave travel condition troubles for your Monday morning. After that, cold air sticks around into the early part of the week, not evacuating the area until late in the week. So the 7-day planner looks like this. Temperatures in the teens on Sunday with late snow into Monday, and a slippery drive to work, 2 to 6 inches there. Cold through most of the week until late.
Thanks, Hutch.
You bet.
Up next on Valley News Live 10 at 10, a Minnesota teenager hasn't run out of steam yet, continuing a 12-year tradition of Valentine's Day deliveries.
You're watching Valley News Live.